as this Dennis as said in the title, this is another big prolotherapy win that I'm experiencing right now, and I actually have experienced many times through this healing. But my situation has been up and down with my neck, so I'm going to capitalize on it now, so I remember that if in the future that I start to have these symptoms again, I know that they'll get better. It's not a permanent situation. Tolerance of just normal food toxins, normal amounts of toxicity in food. You know, like throughout my whole life, I've been able to tolerate all kinds of foods, all kinds of foods, um, ranging from healthy, like NutriBullet smoothies that I'm eating right now, all the way to garbage like like uh like mac and cheese with bacon in it and um um marshmallows, cheesecake, you name it. I started having a gluten problem in 2019. At the same time, my neck was getting worse, my spasms were getting worse in my body. So, wonder what's going on there. Um, yeah, the neck is a crazy system that, if it's not working properly, creates so much havoc. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, I'm gonna this up here so I don't have to duck my head so much. It's absolutely crazy what happens when your neck is unstable. If you look, if you go to, there's a doctor named Ross Hauser. He lives in Florida. He specializes in neck prolotherapy. Um, he's actually the very first person that I reached out to um, way back a couple of years ago when shit was hitting the fan in every place around me, and meds were eating my nervous system alive. He was the very first person I reached out to. Um, and it's interesting. It's like when you have an unstable neck, it's like the neck and like upper thoracic functions like a toilet where um where if something comes into your system, some toxin, um and it doesn't even matter how strong it is. If okay, let me try to reword what I'm trying to say. Um, my face is still really unstable right here, and it's just killing me right now. Um, okay, yeah. If you have an unstable neck, bear with me. It's so hard to think clearly right now because my neck is just, it's improving, but there's just still areas where it's just a hole. It's not supporting like where I'm being able to think, and so everything's just like clogged up, and I can't think straight. Um, he has this analogy on his website called the brain toilet, and that's like your spinal cord that connects down from your C2 region of your neck. It it lets your brain stem and spinal cord function. That stability allows it to function, allows you know neuro like um, neuron waste that comes from all kinds of things in nature, including food, including chlorine water, including probably gluten, including toxicity in soap, in shampoos, in toothpaste, all the toxins out there and chemicals that we just put in our bodies and don't think twice about. When you have instability in your C2 region, it's like your toilet is clogged. The connection, the bandwidth is diminished, and when you have something that has an amount of toxicity, it has trouble making its way down your spinal cord and out of your system. And if it's really bad, it won't go anywhere. It will overload and flood your brain. And that has been the case for the past 1.5 years. I have had to live on a limited diet that doesn't toxify my system, or it adds very little toxicity to it. The least amount of chemicals in a shampoo that has the least amount of chemicals in it, or none, just all natural products, which, isn't a bad thing. I've only begun to be able to tolerate some bromine water for like at pools. And I've had to have a chemical-less soap, chemical-less like teardrops because I have dry eyes right now, chemical-less, wide varieties of food. I had trouble eating the simplest of things, even if it was gluten-free, like bread, like cheese, like tomato sauce, pasta, gluten-free pasta, yogurt, sour cream, milk that isn't high quality Summerhill goat's milk. That's the only kind of milk that I've been able to tolerate. Biscuits, pancakes, even if they're gluten-free, it would sit up in my brain and cause more toxicity with my movements and create more involuntary motion because the neurotoxins would just sit in my brain. They wouldn't go through my system like a toilet. They would just overload and then flood my brain with neurotoxins. And I would slowly have to detox from it with like things like clay baths or Epsom salt baths. Yeah, it's been hell. It's been fucking hell. It's been fucking hell to navigate through this part of the injury. The C2 instability has been transcendentally a change to my life. Thank goodness a temporary one, but oh my god, it has, it's crazy the severity of, the amount of impact it has on one's system when your C2 part of your neck isn't functioning right. You can't do so many things. Even conversations, intensity of conversations. I had to be careful as to navigate, oh, I'm getting stressed out. I need to stop having this conversation because it's really starting to overload my system with neurotoxicity, and I can't handle it. I've had to live with that for the past 1.5 fucking years. It is the bullshittiest collection of symptoms. C2 instability. Oh my god, it is. I can't think of anything honestly worse in a joint instability. It is the worst. It is the worst symptom I've ever experienced. Ever. By far. And tonight, I felt my first freedom of that. I was nervous about eating a little bit of pesto sauce because I know it had like cashews and just other kind of toxins. But I ate it and I felt the flow again. I felt the flow. It didn't sit up in my brain and cause trouble. It went down and I didn't think about it. I just started eating and I didn't feel any toxicity build up. It was like I just had a part of my life restored again. Past 1.5 years, I have been dealing with that symptom, and I finally got some relief from it. And I only expect it to increase. As my neck gets stronger and stronger and more stable, it's only going to get better. Heck, I might even be able to eat gluten again. I mean, none of my family has any gluten issues. And mine just showed up, a few years later, a few years ago, out of nowhere. So, yeah, big win. I'm capitalizing on it. And yeah, it's only going to get better from here. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.